Good afternoon, and thank you so much for meeting with me today. My name is Miss Crook, and as you know, I am Rachel's second grade homeroom teacher, and I've been working with her very closely on her reading skills for the past several months after winter break. And I asked you all to meet me here today to discuss those results and just to get on the same page and talk about all the improvements she's made and how wonderful of a student she is in general. Before we get into all that, I just want to rave about Rachel for just a minute. She is such a wonderful student. She is such a light to have in the classroom. She cracks me up. I can always count on her to make me laugh at some point throughout the day. And she is a really good listener for the most part. We all have our days, you know. You can't expect a child to be perfect at all times. But she really is a good student, and she really does try her best and try her hardest. And that is the biggest thing that I look for in students. That's all that I can ask, if we're being honest. I mean, that is the best thing that they can do, is try their best, and I'm just here to guide them through it. So, as I was saying, just wanted to talk about Rachel in general for just a minute. Over the past few months, I've observed significant growth in her reading skills, and her attitude towards reading has come a long way as well, which is very important for her to continue to want to learn and want to read. So that is something I'm very proud of her for. We have quiet time sometimes in class, and she'll just, where everyone, all the students are reading a book on their iPads or a physical book from the library or that they've brought from home. And she will get her book and she'll say, "Hey, Miss Crook, can I just sit with you and read to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course, that is fantastic." And she'll sit right next to me and we'll read the whole book if it's a short book, or we'll read through it for however long that we are spending on reading time. And I think that is just fabulous. She would have never done that for me at the beginning of the school year. Rachel has mentioned that she has a little brother at home and that she likes to read to him sometimes. Do you guys read as a family? Yeah, that's fantastic. I am all about some reading. I read at home with my 4-year-old, and I just think that is fabulous. It's good family time, and it's good practice on reading. Before we get into the assessment data, do you guys have any questions for me? Not yet? Okay, feel free to stop me at any time if you have a question, okay? All right, let's get into it. So before we talk about the assessments that I gave her and whatnot, I want to talk a little bit about two different tools that we as educators use as far as reading goes. One being Scarborough's Reading Rope. I don't know if you've ever heard of it or not. It's kind of a niche thing as far as being in education. We use it all the time, but I'm not sure if you guys have heard of it or not, and that is totally fine. I'm going to explain it to you. So Scarborough's Reading Rope, and I'll show you an image here in a second so you can see it, because it is an image, something that we can visually see. Scarborough's Reading Rope is an image that depicts how the many concepts of language comprehension and word recognition come together and intertwine like a braided rope, and that is what the visual is of. The visual representation shows how all of these components depend on each other and work together to form reading, the skill of reading. So let me pull it up right here for you to see for just a moment. So here we have Scarborough's Reading Rope, the visual. You guys want to take a moment, and I can print this off and send you a copy home, no problem, if you would like one. All right, let's keep going. All right, the second tool that I would like to talk about is called the Active View of Reading, and it is also a visual tool that we can see. And again, I'm going to show it to you in just a moment, but I could also print it off for you if you would like to have it at home just to read over, or you can Google it. It's super easy to find. Just go on Google, type in you know, the active view of reading, it'll pop up. Same for Scarborough's reading rope. But of course, I do not mind sending home physical copies because I'm a physical copy learner as well. So just let me know. So the active view of reading is another visual representation, like I said, of how word recognition and language comprehension overlap and work together to form the skill of reading. It's very similar in a lot of aspects to Scarborough's reading rope, but it is a nice separate tool to use that has a few different features to it. All right. You have any questions? No? Okay. Let's keep going. Now I would like to discuss some of Rachel's reading data that I gathered since early January and just talk about all the growth that she's made since then and some of the things we've done in the classroom to encourage this growth and to help her with anything she was struggling with. So the first thing that I did was I had Rachel fill out a few different surveys, and you guys can take these home with you. These will be y'all's copies. This one is called the Elementary Reading Attitude Survey, just to gauge how she feels about reading, if there's certain things that she likes better than others, certain topics or certain genres of books, and that would guide me towards some activities I could do with her or some books I could suggest for her to read. So that was one of the surveys. And then also there's a writing interest survey, and that is this one. Again, similar to the last survey, just shows me her interest in writing, some of her, whether she enjoys it, not really, doesn't really enjoy it, certain things she likes to write about. So there again, I can come up with some activities. I can find some things that she would enjoy doing to really spark her interest. There's another survey called Your Thoughts About School. Again, I'll send these home with you guys so you guys can look over them because some of her answers are kind of funny. This one's How I Feel About Reading. And then the last one was just like an overall interest survey, just so I could learn a little bit more about Rachel, and we could, again, find some activities to pique her interest. And these were taken over, I don't know, a week or so period. I wasn't just like, here, Rachel, here's a bunch of surveys for you to take. She would have looked at me like I was crazy. But no, she enjoyed taking the surveys, and it really, really helped me to learn about her interests. Again, those are your copies for you to take home. I've got a pile over here. I'll put in a folder for you guys to take home for anything that you want to look over or you want to hang on to. All right, after the surveys, another activity Rachel and I did together is something called a book walk. So I gave her a book, and her and I together looked through this book. It's called I Walk with Vanessa. And it is a book without any words. It is just pictures. The entire book is just pictures. So we went through it, and I asked her page by page to tell me what was happening on the page. So essentially she was telling me what the book was about and what the story, what was happening in the story, without there being any words to guide her. It was just her looking at the pictures, taking in the context clues, and telling me what was going on and making it into the story. So we went through that page by page. She did really well on that. I was very impressed. This also gauges, like, does the student know the cover page? Do they know the back of the book and information generally on the back of the book? Do they know where to find the title, where to find the author, the illustrator, things like that? Just basics of learning about books. Let's see. And this was the assessment called the book walk. And there, I'll send that home with you guys for you guys to hang on to. So the purpose of the book walk, like I mentioned earlier, is just to tell me her level of comprehension and her ability to interpret what is happening in a story using the context clues, instead of relying on the words to tell her what is happening in the story. Rachel did fabulous on this assignment. She was able to describe what was happening on each page and summarize the book after we had finished going through all the pages, I asked her, hey, Rachel, can you tell me what that entire story was about? And she was able to summarize it for me and give me a good run through of what the story was about. All right, I know I've thrown a lot of information at you guys. Is there any questions that you have for me yet? Feel free. No? Okay, we'll keep going then. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know this time of year is so busy for all of us, and I'm so thankful that y'all penciled me into your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. All right, the next assessment that I did with Rachel is called the Phonological Awareness Screening Test. In short, it's called the PAST. So I will show you what that looks like. Here is the copy that Rachel and I did. The purpose of this assessment is to gauge her phonological understanding, which has to do with her ability to hear and recognize sounds. Overall, she did so good on this assignment. I did notice that she had a little difficulty substituting and deleting sounds within words. For example, when asked to say the word roast and then say the word roast without the sound, she answered row instead of wrote, which should have been the answer. But some of those are very tricky, and I totally get it, and that's just something that we've been working on. And that's the purpose of this assessment, is to give me little things like that that she needs extra help working on. And that's precisely what we've been doing. So there's that one. I'll add that to the pile of copies for you guys to take home. And the next assessment that we did is called the Letters, Phonics, and Word Reading Survey. And overall, she did quite well on this one. We did pinpoint a few things that we needed to work on with this one. The purpose of this assessment was to gauge the student's ability to recognize and read words with long vowel sounds, short vowel sounds, digraphs such as sh, as in shoe, and blends such as as in clap or clasp. Compound words and a few other ones that I haven't mentioned, but there was quite a few different categories on this assessment. And this assessment, here, I'll hold it up for you to see, I'm sorry. There you go. It's several pages long, so I won't hold up every page. This assessment brought to light a few different areas that I needed to work on with Rachel, and specifically learning when to use the hard and the soft C sounds. The hard sound as in k, and the soft sound as in s. And that can be very tricky. That is not uncommon for many second graders to need extra review on. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. I completed a review lesson on the hard and the soft C sounds with Rachel, and I used some manipulatives to really get her involved in the lesson. I used Play-Doh, and then we have these letter stampers, and we used it to spell words. So I would say a word out loud that had the hard or the soft C sound in it, and she would spell it out with the stampers and the Play-Doh. And she seemed to really enjoy that activity, and it really kind of helped things to click as far as remembering when to use the hard and the soft C sound, and in spelling and in reading. All right, we also did a spelling test just to gauge her spelling, and overall she did quite well on that. There again, some of the hard and the soft C sounds she struggled with, but like I said, we've done two review lessons actually on the hard and the soft C sound, and she has done really well on it. And I think it's clicked. I think she's really got it. So also, I know we're coming up on summer break, and I don't want her to lose all this knowledge that she's gained in these last few months and over the year in total, but especially she's really grown leaps and bounds these last few months. And so I have, some activities, if you're interested, for her to do over the summer. I told her, kind of jokingly, kind of not, that I expect her to keep reading over the summer, and I gave her the goal of reading at least 10 books. I think that's very attainable, and I think she accepted the challenge. So now I'm telling you guys, so you guys can hold her to it. And if you have any questions, even over the summer, you can email me, you can reach out to me. That is no problem at all. I also have some reading activities saved on my work computer that I can email over to you guys if you would be interested in that. And the most important thing is just to keep her reading, to keep her mind engaged throughout the summer so that she's ready to go as soon as she goes into 3rd grade at the beginning in August. I would also recommend checking out pbs.org. I'm sure you're familiar with that. You know, it's been around a long time. They have a number of great resources and reading activities to do with your kids. And you know what? While we're talking about it, I will just mosey on over and show you guys what their website looks like. It's super easy to navigate. This is the website. And there again, I will send you an email with all of this information. If you scroll down, you can choose by age. So for Rachel, we would pick 8, and you can choose reading, writing, speaking and listening, reading aloud. So we'll just click on reading just to see. And it gives you so many different activities to check out. And just based off of her interests, you can find something you think would be fun. They have game ideas on here and just different activities to keep their brain engaged over the summertime. And I think that would be fabulous for Rachel, and I think she would be all about it. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Another great resource that is easily accessible would be readingrockets.org. Again, I'll send you that in an email so that you have access to it and so you don't forget it. They have a wonderful selection of activities for families to do as a whole or for children to do. I'll pull that one up real fast for you to see real quick and just get an idea of what it looks like. So there it is. And they have a tab over here that says literacy at home, and I would probably go to that one. You can check out all the tabs, of course. There's a lot of information. You could spend hours on here, but just for things you're looking to do at home, activities and whatnot, I would go to the literacy at home tab. And there again, just like PBS, it has so many different activities and things that you can print off and have your child do, things that are virtual that they can do online, games they can do on the website and whatnot. It's a great resource. There again, I think Rachel would really enjoy doing something like that. She seems to really enjoy working on her iPad here in class, learning. I know I've thrown a lot of information at you guys. Is there any questions you have for me as we begin to wrap it up? I don't want to take any more of your time on this beautiful day. No questions? Are you sure? Don't hesitate to ask. No? Okay. If you think of anything, please do not hesitate to shoot me an email or hit me up through the app that we use here at school to communicate with parents. Either one, I'll see both, one as quick as the other. Yeah, don't feel free to ask any questions or for any suggestions on activities to do at home or anything. Feel free to let me know. I'm here to help. Even in the summertime, I will respond to your emails, I promise. Thank you so much again for meeting with me today. I really appreciate taking your time, and I hope I have not taken too much of your time. If you need anything, like I said, please reach out. I hope you both have a fantastic rest of your day, and I really enjoy having Rachel here in class. Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.